Greetings, and welcome to another episode by Jane the Goddess Speaks. Thank you all so much for coming here to witness with your ears and your heart. And to all my day ones, welcome back. Thank you for riding so much with your girl. And if you are new here, thank you for tuning in as well. Please share, subscribe, and support this platform. I love a good word of mouth, and I also love when people can share this with others that could help them. And so I'm back at it, and I'm here with the full swing of topics right now. And lately I've been having a lot of things come to me that I wanted to talk about. And in today's episode, I want to dive right in and just ask you all, have you ever been in one of those moments where you just was about to say something real, something that mattered, and then boom, someone just cuts you off? Maybe they start to talk over you, they shift the subject, or they give you the look like, who cares, right? And if it's not in that exact moment, they'll conveniently just forget to let you speak later on. You know what I'm talking about, right? I want y'all to think about that, because people love to silence you at the wrong time just so they can humiliate you at the right time. Hear me out again, okay? People love to silence you at the wrong time just so they can humiliate you at the right time. And they do it at work, they do it in our friendships, even in our own families. And it can be subtle. It's a quick cutoff, it's a sigh when you start speaking, or they suddenly have an emergency right now when it's your time to share. Other times, y'all, it's loud and clear. But either way, it sends the same message. What you have to say doesn't matter. And for them, that's a tactic. And it's a way of keeping you small, keeping you from taking up space or stealing a little of their light. But here's the thing. Their need to control what you say, and when you say it, it's just not a coincidence. It's not. It's about power. And for some people, letting you speak when you're ready, when you're calm and collected, is just too risky. And I am a true testament of this, because what if you say something that's important? What if you shine? So instead, what they try to do is keep your voice small and save the spotlight for the moment when they can twist your words or make you feel like you're out of your depth, make you feel crazy. And maybe they wait until you're caught off guard when you're least prepared or most vulnerable. And then they give you the floor. Ever had those people that do that to you? And y'all, this just don't happen in our friendships and in our families and stuff. This also can happen in our relationships with the people that we have spent our lives with or spent the most time with, and someone that we love. So only when they're ready for you to speak, when it suits them, right? And it's almost like setting a trap for you. And when I think about this, and times that this has happened for me, I'm just like, you walk away saying, I could have said this, or I should have said this, or why did they do that? And in some time and with some perspective in my thought, I just realized it wasn't about me at all. And it was just about their need to keep control and to keep me in a box that they were comfortable with. Okay, so if you've been there, let me tell y'all this. It's not your imagination, and it's definitely not your fault. People who feel threatened by others' strength will always try to silence them, and they want to control the narrative. They even want to decide who speaks and when. And when you don't fit the picture, they'll try to paint you in a way that does. So how do we handle it? So first, recognize it for what it is. Know when you're being silenced, not because you're too much or not enough, but because you have a voice that could possibly shake things up. And second, get intentional with your words, because when someone tries to stop you, maybe say, hey, I'm not finished, or I'll take my turn, thanks. Hey, I also had something to add. Or can I speak? Can I elaborate on that? Excuse me, I wasn't done, right? I know it's not always easy, especially in professional or personal settings where there's a lot at stake. And I understand that. But believe me, even small statements of confidence make a big impact over time. And then last with this, don't be afraid to call it out. Because sometimes just saying, I feel like my voice isn't being heard here, is just enough to make people think twice about shutting you down. But remember, y'all, your voice is powerful, and that's why some people are so afraid of it. And anyone that try to keep you quiet isn't worried about you saying the wrong thing. They're worried about you saying exactly what needs to be heard. And you got to be there to take up that space to say the right things. And trust me, the right people will hear you. And as I talked about how this could happen in certain relationships and friendships and even in your family, I want to talk about those nonverbal cues too. I hit a little bit on it in the beginning with the sighs and the looking away and things. But just like in friendships where you might start to share something personal and they give you that quick glance, or they just suddenly get distracted with the yeah, right. All that stuff. But you can clearly see, right? They're making it clear that they're not really listening. Or they might play it off as humor with a little jab or a little joke like, oh, here she goes again. Now, on the surface, it's nothing but, underneath, it's cutting you off, telling you to wrap it up before you even had a chance to start. And it also happens in our relationships. Let's say you're with your partner and you bring up something important. Maybe they did something to bother you. Instead of listening, they give you that heavy sigh, or maybe even shake their head a little or look away. That's passive aggression. And passive aggression is so powerful, y'all. They're not saying anything outright, but their silence and their body language can speak loud and clear. And it's a way of invalidating your feelings without openly arguing with you. Now, even with family, it's sometimes even worse because the connection is deep and the dynamics are already complicated. So maybe you're just trying to set a boundary or finally stand up for yourself, and instead of them listening, they brush it off. Maybe it's a little sarcastic, oh, since when did you get so sensitive? Or they give you this certain look, making you feel like a burden for even bringing it up. Those small comments, those dismissive looks, they're designed to make you second guess yourself and to make you feel like you're the one that's overreacting. And let's not forget the workplace. In meetings, these things happen because there are people who love to play the subtle game. You're speaking and they give you the slight smirk or exchange a quick glance over at someone else. Or maybe after you share an idea, there's a silence, then someone else chimes in with a similar suggestion. And suddenly, it's a great idea. Now, these are not nonverbal ways people try to cut you down and say you're not as important here. But remember, all these actions, these microaggressions, these passive-aggressive behaviors, they're meant to silence and to keep you small. Because when people are threatened by your voice, they don't always come at you directly. They'll do it in ways that might be easy to brush off at first. But those little things do start to add up. And they start to make you question yourself, and you find yourself thinking, maybe I am too much. Maybe I should just keep quiet. Maybe I do talk too much. But here's the truth. These behaviors say way more about them than they do about you. People who roll their eyes, people that sigh and that use sarcasm to keep you quiet, they're just showing their own insecurities, their own needs to stay in control by keeping you out of the conversation. So when they can't silence you directly, they'll use these small little calculated gestures just to keep you in your place. You ever heard of that? All these things to keep you in your place. So here's how you handle it, because you got to recognize those signs for what they are, as I talked about in the beginning. And know that when someone gives you that heavy sigh or that quick dismissive look, it's not about you being too much or not enough. It's about their own discomfort with your strength. So I need y'all to start setting boundaries with these type of people. If they roll their eyes, call it out. If they sigh, ask them directly if they have a problem with what you're saying. Hold them accountable. Let them know suddenly or directly that you see what they're doing and it's not going to work. This is how you gain and take your power back. So remember, your voice is powerful. People who use microaggressions, who rely on passive aggression, they're scared of that power. They're not just shutting you down because they're too busy, quote unquote, or because what you have to say doesn't matter. They're doing it because deep down they know that it's going to matter a little too much. And anyone who tries to silence you in any way isn't trying to protect your feelings. They're trying to protect their own. And so next time when y'all are in those moments and you feel that silent message of stop talking, stand firm, keep speaking. And remember that every little sigh, every little glance that you get, every passive aggressive comment just proves how much your voice deserves to be heard. And so I want y'all to remember this. Don't forget it, how important it is when it comes to people trying to silence you at the wrong time just to humiliate you at the right time. Don't let their tactics dim your light. And I need y'all to speak up, even if your voice shakes, especially if it shakes. That means it's time to speak up. All right, guys, this was a quick one. And until next time, I love you all. Bye-bye.